Hey guys, I want to talk a minute about starting perks. After you select your initial special stats at the Vigor Tester machine, Doc Mitchell has you sit down on his couch and he runs you through a series of questions that will eventually lead to suggested tag skills, which tag just means it adds 15 points to 3 select skills. You can unselect those and pick any that you want, of course. For me, I use this opportunity to put points into things that I don't really want to think about for the next few levels. I'll get my lockpick and my science to where I can hack easy computers and pick easy locks early on. And I go for either repair or speech here. Now, seeing as I took a few points off of charisma, there is a speech check or two that I'll want to pass really early on. Basically, the first main quest that you do when you get out into Good Springs from leaving here. So I'll go ahead and put the points in there. Also, keep in mind that there's some perks you can pick. Now, if you have the DLC, there's one perk that adds 5 points to all of your skills, and the only downside is it takes 10% off any experience you earn, which honestly doesn't factor in much. So it's basically 5 free points for everything. And it's this one right here. If I didn't have the DLC, what I would do is I would pick Good Natured here. And what this does is it takes 5 points off of some of your combat skills like energy weapons, explosives, guns, melee, unarmed, and adds 5 points to the barter, medicine, repair, science, and speech. And those are what I would call role-playing skills. Those are the skills you need to interact with the world and interact with other characters, not just shoot people. If I think about this, as far as combat goes, unless I'm just going to be using one of everything, if I'm picking one particular style, all I'm taking is a 5-point penalty to that one thing, like say guns or melee weapons, where I'm getting +5 to all these other things, which I might not want to invest a lot of points in later. That's how I look at it. Either way, but having the DLC, I'll go ahead and take this. You can be done with that. You can just pick one skill and just be done. But the other perk I really like is small frame here. And it seems harsh early on. It's really not. It doesn't seem to make much difference. If you're playing on hard or very hard, honestly, your limbs are crippled pretty easily anyway. So what this does is it gives you an extra free point of agility, which is basically a level, because if you were going to take a training perk and give yourself another point in this particular thing, you know, if you don't care about agility, then I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm a big agility fan. I like having mine at 9 or 10. I like the quick reload and the extra VATS points. I'll take this extra free level, considering I would have to take a training perk at my 2nd or 4th level or 6th level, whatever. Later on, now I get a free point here, and it says, quote unquote, your limbs are more easily crippled. 25% more easily crippled is what it winds up being, which doesn't seem to make much difference in gameplay, in my opinion. But once your limbs are crippled 50 times, later on, there's a perk you get. It's basically meeting a challenge, which makes your limbs more durable anyway, so it basically evens itself out. Plus, there is a perk you can get called Adamantium Skeleton. I think it's around level 14 or 16 or so. And that gives you a lot bigger, a lot more resistance to crippling on your limbs there too, if you want to take that later. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. When my limbs are crippled, it's an excuse to use doctor's bags and Hydra, and that works towards challenges. The doctor's bags are a challenge in and of themselves. Hydra works towards chems, getting addicted a certain amount of times, using addictive chems a certain amount of times. All that's good for challenges and XP later on. So it's all plus as far as I'm concerned. These are mine. A lot of the perks in here have much more downside than upside. Some appear to balance out, but if you pick them both, you actually wind up with a deficit in everything, such as, which one is it here? Fast shot and trigger discipline. It says you fire 20% slowly but are 20% more accurate, and fast shot, fire 20% more quickly but your shots are 20% accurate. How the numbers wind up being is you wind up being 4% less accurate and 4% slower if you pick them both. For whatever reason, it's all downside. whatever the case, these are my two favorites right here, and I give you the reasons why. This one, obviously, just 5 points to every skill. That's a couple levels worth of skill points just to start. There's also a glitch in the game where when you go to redo your character, when you travel a certain distance from Good Springs, it will give you an option to rebuild your character. If you pick this now and then go to rebuild your character later and pick this again, you actually stack, so you get 10 points for each skill. That's too close to cheating for me. I see it being unnecessary. Once I get up into the high 20s, 30s, I'm out of stuff I really want to put skill points in anyway. But if you want that quick 10 points, then you can do that. If you don't have the DLC, like I say, my favorite up here is Good Nature, just for reasonings that it gives me +5 to stuff I'm going to use in the role-playing element of the game early on, and only subtracts 5 from a skill or two that I might want, but the very first time I level up, I can put those points right back in again anyway. But with the DLC, these are the two that I'll pick here. And that being said and done, Mitchell's finished with me, but what I have now is, though my repair skill isn't 25, so I can't get this free 9mm SMG, I can come back and get that later, but what you do have is a lot of lootable items. And the thing is everything you grab out of Doc Mitchell's house, you can sell back to him at the front door. So you can loot everything from his garbage books that are laying on every shelf, and all the food in his fridge. There's a free physician magazine here, free doctor's bag here, some free Sunset sarsaparilla here, which are good for the star caps. There's a 9mm, which I can't fix yet, but once I get my skill to 25, I can come back and get that later. Make some free meds here now that my science is over 25. Okay, and then go around the corner here. There's another bunch of just random stuff. And I'll take all this and literally just sell it back to them at the front door, even if it's just a cap. You know, I guess like any RPG, every single bit of currency that you have early in the game is of course a help and a boost. I know there's a carton of cigarettes, 3 packs of cigarettes in here. Sell those to him. I could grab all those books, but actually there's a perk that you can get with the DLC way later on where those books will come in handy. Should I ever want them, I'll know where I can go to get them. So I won't worry about that, but I can grab all this. Like I say, what I don't want to keep, sell back to them at the front door. And that's good enough for example's sake. Also, now that my speech is high enough, I added 15 points with my tag skill, plus I added another 5 points with that perk. So there ought to be a free speech check and some quick XP with him right here. Go through all the dialogue with him real quick. Get into my hardcore mode. Can't live without it. That is one of the best additions they ever gave to Fallout. There. Okay, here I can sell them all my stuff, all this garbage. I'll keep the food right now anyway. If you don't have the trophy, if you're going for trophies and you don't have the one where you need to heal yourself with 10,000 points worth of food, that takes a while. Even if you sit there with a grenade launcher and shoot yourself in the feet and slug bighorner steaks, it still takes a while. Although that is a good opportunity to use up your medical bags and Hydra, because you will be crippling yourself just about every time you shoot yourself. Plus get that challenge for crippling yourself. So that is a plus side to doing that. A lot of these are DLC items. And now that I've taken more money than he has, I can afford to buy some of this stuff. Doctor's bags first and foremost. Okay. Anyway, there's a speech check here. Right here.
Of course.
It gives you a couple free stim packs. I don't know if your species give you 25 or 30 for that. I make a habit of running through all dialogue options, even if I know what they're going to say. I don't remember in every case which dialogue option is going to open up a new speech check, or I'll put a map marker on my map. And so I just make a habit of running through every highlighted speech option, basically telling me that I haven't spoken to them since. Sometimes you'll have a speech option where you talk to them and you'll see several options, and once you talk to them, it'll go back to the previous one and it'll show it as being darkened out. If you press on it again, it'll give you the that second tier of options again, and go through all that stuff. And a lot of times those ones that you have to dig for, they'll open up map markers, open up a quest, open up a speech check. You'll get an item for it. You never know. There's all kinds of stuff, and that stuff is hidden with all the NPCs that you can interact with throughout the game. I make a habit when I first start. This is kind of like my MO, is to come out and check these mailboxes. There's free magazines in a few of these. It's randomly generated when you leave the doc's house, so you never know what you'll get. Hopefully it's not all empties. Okay, and those aren't necessarily worth carrying around with me until I get to the store, so I'm not going to loot absolutely everything. But let's see here. Cherry bomb, it's crafting. Nope. Another thing I'd like to show you guys. There you go, Programmer's Digest. And I collect all the magazines. I never know when I'll need one for one thing or another. I mean, even having a magazine on melee or unarmed, if you're not a melee or unarmed character, but you got a weapon you'd like to use when you run into a mob of, say, legionaries or something like that, and you want to run around with your super sledge or something, I'll go ahead and use one of those magazines and boost your stats up a little bit, do a little more damage, have a little more accuracy or whatever with that weapon. I mean, they're all usable. There is a permanent skill book, not a magazine, but a book, early on here, and it's in, this is a house where I believe Sunny Smiles actually lives, and it's this white house over here on the edge. I believe it's this one. It requires stealing it, but it's right here on the shelf underneath these books, and it's for sneak. Always useful for me. She also has a shotgun in here. And there's a med box. A sunset star cap right here. I believe a medicine box somewhere. I may be wrong. Whatever. I'll raid her fridge while I'm here. Okay. Don't know. I'm probably sitting here looking right at there. It is. Okay. All this is minor bits of negative karma. Anyone familiar with the beginning of the game here will know that you have an opportunity to get a lot of good karma really, really quickly. Anyway, that's one skill book. Now, if you want, before you do any of the quests here, there are a couple more houses that you can go in here for random stuff. I'm mostly just interested in magazines at the moment. I'll check the rest of these mailboxes, but having gotten that skill book, one of the first places that you would go would be into the Prospector Saloon there, or the store to go sell your loot. You can grab Sunset Sarsaparillas out of these cases. You have to steal these 3. But these, all right here, are all legal. Alright, and a quick challenge that you can get is break down some ammo real quick. There you go. Each individual round counts towards an item made or something like that. Anyway, it's just free XP. Really quick. And it's a challenge. What you do after checking these mailboxes... Oh, there's also a meeting people in this trailer, by the way. And a box that might have some random crafting loot in it. And a bed that you can use to sleep in. I don't know if the box in there is usable as a storage container. Some you can, other ones will empty themselves when the game resets itself every 3 days or so. So you want to be careful with that. There. Okay, so having raided the mailboxes and gotten kind of a shoddy deal, there's meeting people right here. Okay, what you can do is before you even start anything, or you can run out here to the main road, and if you want early permanent skill books. You have that stealth one there, and two other real useful things to have are repair and explosives. I don't tend to invest a lot of points in explosives early. There is a speech check that requires explosives early on also. And with what I already had with my endurance and my 5 points extra from that perk, what I can do is running, bring up my map. Okay, running down here to the main road, I'm going to want to go north, and there's a town called Sloan up there. That will eventually be put on my map marker if I go through all the dialogue options with the people in the saloon. But for now, just for example's sake, there's basically, since I haven't created animosity with any of the local gangs, there are no enemies to run across for the most part, as long as I stay on the road here. And so this is free and clear. If you played a lot of Fallout 3, you know that you can make a run, grab a few quick skill books running to the river, straight from Vault 101, and then swim down the river and go to the ship, and don't even talk to anybody. You just grab the intelligence bobblehead, and that was good for extra skill points early on while you were still level, what, 1 or 2 or whatever, 3. Here's my chance to rebuild the character. I'm not going to. If I wanted to, I could rebuild it and keep everything the same except for my perks, and it'll give me an option to pick those again. And if I were to pick that skilled perk one more time, what I would get is 5 more skill points again in every skill. I'm not going to do that. I don't see it as being necessary, but if you wanted, you could. And there's another sunset star, and there's a key. You know what? I'll just run in here real quick since I'm here. There's a key on the desk because most people's lockpick skill wouldn't be high enough. Sunset star bottle cap to open this locker, but now that I have the key, I can get some free, quick, early stuff. All right. On this playthrough, I've decided that the armor I'm going to stick with, normally my favorite is the Pain Spike Raider armor, which you find off the Fiends when you first get to around New Vegas. But I'm going to go with the Merc, either Troublemaker or Charmer outfit, and that's what I'll run with for the whole game. And no need to upgrade from there. The build, as I have it now, I did this on another video, but these are my base points here. And 5 strength seems low if I was going to do any melee, but I don't believe it is so. I'm perfectly effective with 5. Once I get to the medical clinic, all of these are going to be raised by 1. As long as my endurance is 7, I can put an extra point to all these stats once I get to the New Vegas medical clinic. Now that it's 8, I can not only put a point in here, but I can also get the subdermal armor, which is good for an extra 4 points of damage threshold, which is the equivalent of wearing a set of the Raider Pain Spike armor all by itself. Anyway, as you can see, I'm traveling northeast here up this main road, and if I were to do the Good Springs quest, at least for the good, this guy would be mad at me right now, but I haven't created any animosity, so I'm running into no resistance coming up this way. There's another free skill magazine. So like I say, those guys, I don't even have to mess with them yet. Sloan is up here. Sorry it's just taking so long, but I have to physically travel there. But as you notice, this is just an easy peasy way to get early stuff, basically free. Also, if you're interested, up here by Sloan, there's an area, the quarry is right behind it to the left, and it's full of death claws, but if you go to the school when you first leave Doc Mitchell's house back in Good Springs, go in there, there's a safe which it has an easy lock. There's also a computer there, which is easy hack. Having already put my tag points into both science and lockpicking, what I can do is I can hack the computer but choose not to unlock the safe, then turn around and unlock the safe also and double my XP. Plus get 1 point of progress towards my computer hacking and my lockpicking challenges also. Alright, so you come up here to Sloan, and there's a guy you can talk to here. He'll give you a quest. I'm not going to bother with this. There's a tame mole rat called Snuffles, which if your medicine is 30, I believe 30, you can fix him. I have a Today's Physician book, and I might have enough to do that, but I'm not going to bother with it. But main thing here, the most important, what I really want to show you was this worker barracks. First building on the left here. Come in, and this guy usually doesn't pay you much mind. If you look off to the left, and up here on the shelf, there's a repair book. You have to steal it, but it doesn't matter. As long as it says hidden, you're not going to get caught. And then over here, it's a duck and cover, which is, if you're familiar with them from Fallout 3, is explosives. Okay, so right now I have sneak, explosives, and repair, and I haven't even done anything in the game yet. I'm not gonna quote unquote eat those books right now though, because I would only get 3 points apiece from them. What I'll do is I'll wait till I'm level 4, and I'll take I believe it's called the educated perk. And here's dialogue with this guy. Anyway, take the educated perk, and it allows you not only an extra point for every skill book that you read, so instead of 3 you'll get 4, but more importantly to me, it doubles the points you get from magazines from 10 to 20. What that means is I take my skill books, and let's say I find 4 or 5 big books of science. Well, that's 16 to 20 points there. All right. If I have a few Programmer's Digest magazines on me, pretty much at all times, and I try to keep a few on me if possible, that's another 20 points right there once I've taken that perk. All right, so I essentially only need to invest enough points to get my science to, say, 60 or 64. With the skill books that are to be found throughout the world, which you'll find in your adventures, one of them is given to you if you do the right thing on a quest. For Poseidon Energy, you have to turn on this big solar array system, and if you send the power to everybody, not just the NCR, not just the dam or whatever, if you send it to everybody, a followers of the Apocalypse guy there will reward you with a big book of science, for example. Anyway, and there's a few more to be found here and there, and that allows you to basically half the number of points that you have to invest in science to get a full skill of 100, essentially, to where you can hack very hard computers, which there's only a couple in the world anyway. So it's not like a real big deal. It's not like you're going to be running across very hard computers in every building. I think there's probably not just but a handful. Off the top of my head, I can think of maybe 3 or 4. I'm sure there's more than that, but not too many. Anyway, it's not really all that big of a deal. But should you find a computer like that, which will usually be keeping a door locked or keeping a safe locked, which will have some really good stuff in it, you'll want to hack it, plus the XP that you get for hacking it, obviously. Anyway, this is just a little starting, I guess you could say pattern that you can run to give yourself a quick boost early on. Go back to Good Springs, run through the initial quests, do everything you can do, and you should be a good level 4 or 5 before you even leave there, even considering I took the perk where I get 10% less experience. I still usually have the educated perk about the time that I'm leaving Good Springs, if you do everything. Try to pass all your speech checks and have everything you need for all that stuff. Anyway, just a little quick starter here. Hope it was helpful for somebody. And with that, I guess I'll get out of here. All right, y'all take it easy.